We're on. We're live.
All right. Thank you so much, Denise, co-host Denise. God bless you. On behalf of the Trenton Board of Education, I welcome you to our TV radio broadcast on Trenton Talks. I want to thank our sponsors, WIMG 1300 AM and WPHY Verizon Channel 28. My name is Gerald Truart. I'm your host. I serve as a board member of the Trenton Board of Education. I chair the Family and Community Engagement and School Support Committee. I serve along with board members, Board President Addie Daniels Lane, and board members Denise Johnson, Yolanda Morel Lopez, and Teron Tice. I also serve as chair of the Board Policy Committee and as a member of the Human Resources and Facilities and Buildings and Grounds Committees. We thank Mr. James Earl, our superintendent, for his leadership, his support, and his commitment to our school community. We have on our call today, Jeannie Weekling, board member and chair of our Facilities and Buildings and Grounds Committee. We want to thank our co-host, Denise Crease, our parent coordinator and homeless liaison for Trenton Public Schools. Thank you, Denise. I want to thank our attendees via Zoom Live and our guests via our Trenton Public Schools Facebook Live page. I want to thank again our sponsors, WIMG 1300 AM and WPHY Verizon Channel 28. The Trenton Board of Education TV radio broadcast on Trenton Talks is rebroadcast on radio channel 1300 AM on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Our TV channel is broadcast via WPHY Verizon Channel 28 on Thursdays at 11 p.m. We're also broadcast on YouTube channel Trenton TV and Facebook channel Trenton Public Schools. We are excited about our broadcast this evening. Our first segment is a conversation around renaming of our schools, Wilson and Columbus School, with board member and Facilities and Buildings and Grounds Chair, Jeannie Weekling. Our second segment, which begins at 4:30, is a conversation around substitute employment opportunities with Kelly Services and our district. Well, welcome, Jeannie. How are you this afternoon?
Good. Thank you for having me today. I'm excited to be here to go over our latest endeavor when it comes to renaming of the schools within the district.
Yeah, so our board approved the policy and regulations. It's actually policy regulation 7250 process for board approval for renaming of school facilities back in October of 2020. What has been the process since we've actually approved that renaming of school policy? What is our actual overall process for going through the process of renaming our schools?
Okay, the first step was to come up with form a committee made up of members of the board to go out and solicit suggestions for naming the schools, and going over planning of how to go about this so that we can make sure that everybody that wants to be is included. So, because it's open to all residents of the city of Trenton, whether you have a child in the district or not. So we're putting together a package with a form that will be available on the website starting late next week, where people can download the form and fill it out. And there's three basic criteria that we're looking for that are stated in the guidelines of the policy that we need to follow. The first one being each name shall be known to and significant to the people of the district. So it's not limiting it to city residents, but people need to be aware of who they're suggesting. Names submitted shall not conflict with the names of other schools in the district or surrounding districts. And the third, and probably one of the more important ones, the use of names of living persons shall be avoided unless the circumstances warrant an exception. This is to avoid problems in the future. So I think that's an important thing. But those are really the basics of what we're looking for. And it doesn't really even have to be a person. You know, it can be, I know in Florida, they name schools after the Challenger and all the different space shuttles and that. So, you know, people can get creative, and it's up to them. And we'll just, the committee will, at that point, will run the campaign about 2 weeks, and the committee will have, at that point, we'll have a rubric of weighing all the selections, and then it'll be put to the entire board for approval.
Miss Jeannie, when is the time frame and what's the goal of having the new name?
I
Board
believe
approved.
by July 2022, we want to have it up and on the schools. So, you know, we need a few weeks for people to be able to put their suggestions in. And it's all going around board meetings, and getting into the holidays, it gets a little crazy. So the goal is to have the forms available on the website for people to download by the 19th of November.
Are the forms to provide name suggestions or the forms to actually join the committee?
No. This committee's already set. It's not it's a board ad hoc committee.
Gotcha.
We're looking to the public and the community for name suggestions.
Thank you. For
So,
the clarification.
yeah, I guess we should have clarified that. So we hope to have the forms up online by the 19th. So people will have till about December 5th or 6th, December 6th to get everything submitted. And the instructions for submitting the forms will be on there. They go to the board secretary and she collects them all, and then we'll turn them over. So hopefully by the January meeting, if not February, we'll be voting on the finalists for them. And we'll, from all the suggestions that come in, we'll pick 5 for each school. Top 5 will be selected. And then those 5 will be voted on by the board. And there will be there'll be a form for renaming each school. There will be one to rename Wilson, and there will be one to rename Columbus. So people can suggest for both, they can suggest for one. But it's open.
I think that's, I think this is good news for our district, renaming those 2 schools. It's been talked about for many, many years. I remember years ago, a community member asked me about renaming the high school. And at that time, we weren't in the position at that time to rename the high school. But certainly as we continue to develop our policy around the process of renaming our schools, Columbus and Wilson were 2 schools that we felt were needed to be changed. And just to reiterate also, Jeannie, we're going to be selecting from up to 5 names at our board meeting, and then selecting from that cadre of 3 to 5 names. I think you said 5. We're going to actually have 5, but that does not preclude the community from submitting names. We're going to select 5 from that pool of names for both, from the 5 for Columbus and 5 for Wilson.
Well, there'll be two different forms on the website, one for renaming Columbus School, one for renaming Wilson. So it's almost 2 separate groups. So from each group will come up, we'll have to vote twice is what it will, there'll be 2 votes, one to rename Columbus, one to rename Wilson.
And so we'll have up to 5 names to choose from for Columbus and 5 names to choose from Wilson.
Yeah.
But that pool of names could be a number of opportunities for folks to name within the pool to be voted on by the committee.
And it's the board isn't suggesting names. We're getting the names from the community. So it's, we're going to go with what the community wants. And
And so our broadcast this afternoon is a way of communicating that to our community, both on Facebook Live, on the radio, on TV, on webinar, our Zoom webinar guests as well, and really letting the folks know that there's going to be an opportunity to rename Wilson and Columbus in the upcoming year. And that I can reiterate, based on what you said, that we're looking to have that renaming completed, and then a ceremony or something happening in July of 2022.
yeah, prior to next school year starting is what the goal is. So, because we'll have to re-letter the schools, and we'll need new signage and new letterhead, all kinds of things go along with when you change the name of something, and you hope to catch everything in the beginning. So
our listeners know, both radio and TV and our Facebook Live listeners, when you submit the names, you're submitting those names to the board secretary, business administrator,
correct.
Jane Howard, who is our BA and board secretary.
Right.
Once those forms are available on our website, one form for Columbus, one form for Wilson, that information will not come to the committee initially. It will go right to our board secretary, business administrator, and then those names will then be submitted to the committee for consideration
Right.
prior to submission to the board for
Right.
vote by the full board.
Yeah, and we'll go through all the suggestions and sort them. If there's a number of one coming up that's playing a strong role, that will make its way to the list. So we'll see what happens. It's up to the community to put out there what they'd like to see, but people need to keep in mind the criteria, and a copy of the policy will be at least the important stuff will be on the form, so people are aware of what we're looking for and suggestions, the type of people we're looking for, that have something, preferably something to do with Trenton. Definitely New Jersey. You could go nationally if you wanted to, because there's plenty of people there, but let's see what we come up with, what people come up with.
One of the things you mentioned too, I think is important to note, is that is for City of Trenton residents. I mean, we want to
Correct.
we're requiring that you be a City of Trenton resident to submit the form and to submit a name
Yes.
to the board secretary, business administrator, for consideration for the renaming of our schools.
And we will also blast out to all the parents and students in the district that this will be happening, so they're aware of it. But we can reach those people. It's reaching the senior citizens in the community that's the tricky part, in getting their input, because we value their input and really would like them to be included in the process.
So what about so I guess at this point, I'm thinking about employees that but if they're not City of Trenton residents, they won't be allowed to submit a name. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's a great criteria, I think. What are some of the other criterias that you mentioned that you can reiterate?
I'm trying to look over here.
We did mention that we're frowned upon if you're living.
Yeah,
right? If they're a living person, not that we're wouldn't accept it, but that, preferably someone who is not living.
Right. And the other thing is conflicting names. We don't need even though Hamilton has a Wilson school too. But, you know, the surrounding districts pay attention to what other districts have schools named. So we don't want too many of the same. And just the significance of the person to the city of Trenton, or the thing to the city of Trenton.
Someone of high
You know?
integrity, someone of higher integrity, someone that has
It's
good
had an impact on
morals and
education.
impact on the city, and impact on community, and impact on the people of the city.
Well, and really the education system of the city too.
Yes, yes.
You know, that's important. And really it's not, you know, there's not much more than that. And I know people out there have ideas. So I can't wait to see them, because it's going to be interesting to see who comes up the most.
Which name is
Which name?
the most,
Yeah.
right? In terms of what floats to the top,
Yeah, yeah.
cream of the crop, what floats to the top. Yes, yes.
And
I'm excited. I'm really excited about this process. I mean, this is going to be quite an endeavor, and I think it's something that's been needed in our city for quite some time now. And I think that even up through elected officials, I think it's important that we're doing this.
Yeah.
You know, pandemic kind of slowed us down just a tick or so, but we're back on track and getting right back into the business of getting this work.
The thought never
done.
left our minds to do it.
Yes.
We were just, pandemic was like, oh, it's not as critical, because getting the kids back to school became the important thing.
A host of other things too. We have our restricting and things of that nature that we had to do to reach the facilities upgrades that we were paying for. Over $29 million from the ESSER grant funds were used, and you know, getting back to school, coming back to school, restart and recovery plan, and you know, so many other things that were a priority for us that we had to focus on. But now that that's somewhat behind us, we're back in school. Everything seems to be going relatively well. Now it's time to pick up additional work that we started in the prior year to move it forward.
Yeah, and with the redistricting, this kind of falls in line with the whole thing. Is, you know, the schools breakdowns will be new for the kids, new names. So it's, you know, and it's just going to be making sure we get everybody understanding what the new names are, and you know, that they've changed. And I think a lot of people understand why we're changing them. And it's a necessary thing to do at this point in time. So, do you have, Denise, do you have any other questions or?
No, so I think this, like Mr. Trueheart said, this is going to be an awesome opportunity for the school district. And, you know, as we're communicating out these changes, it'll be a fun project too. So schools can get students engaged, whether, you know, maybe possibly doing an internal contest just to see what the students come up with. And, you know, maybe they could be a wild card. I don't know, to make it fun.
The one thing that's going to be on the form is people are going to need to provide up to 500 words, why they're selecting, what the impact the person had, and you know, why they're suggesting this person, what they did that was important and relevant.
That's an important part. That's an important.
That's a very important.
And
it came to mind. I'm like, oh yeah, the 500-word essay.
So, you can't submit the name. You're gonna have to submit the name and give a reason why you submitted that name.
Reason why. Well, not a why, but why is the person? Why do you feel the person is worthy of the naming? And we're gonna have to vet everybody.
Yeah.
You know. That's going to take, that's why I'm saying January, February, is because there's some research going to have to be done on the top ones.
For sure. So maybe some high school seniors. or juniors can submit something and put it out there. You never
Yes,
know.
we are
Sure, we
students.
can get,
Our
I'm
students
sure we
definitely
put it
should.
on Facebook and we'll get the answers for some of them.
I mean, you talk about schools, you're talking about like PJ Hill and
Right.
Hespeth Williams. They have
Williams,
major historical stories behind Hespeth Williams with the school, Board of Education and PJ Hill's Dr. PJ Hill. And I mean, the physician. I mean, we've got some great names of schools. We definitely have to get Wilson and Columbus changed, but I think we're in the right direction to do that and change the trajectory of our school culture and climate around how people feel about things. So I know that's maybe a contentious issue or subject, but I think it's important that we note that we are behind the renaming of our schools and our communities behind it. It's not the first time that we've had this brought up to our attention. And so I'm glad that we are actually moving forward with the process of renaming schools and getting it done this year for next year for F23
yeah,
or fiscal year 23, beginning July of 2022.
Awesome. So once that form becomes available, I can share that with folks that are watching right now, and we'll ensure that our communications officer sends that, information out throughout the district as well. So just a reminder, the goal for the renaming of these schools are July 2022. And the Board of Education has created an ad hoc committee, and they will be reviewing name submissions that are put out through this form that will be available next week. And we will notify everyone that's listening as to when they should submit that information. 3 important parts to know. Each name that is suggested must be significant to the district. There can't be a conflict of interest of the school's name. And then we want to be conscious of neighboring school names, that we're not, duplicating that. And then also the person's name cannot be of a living person. So those are the 3 parts that Miss Jeannie went over. So we're really excited to be changing our school names of Wilson and Columbus School.
I want to thank you, Jeannie, my fellow board
Thank you.
member, Jeannie
Thank
Weekman, our chair of our Facilities, Buildings and Grounds Committee, doing great work. I mean, look at our facilities, again, investing over $29 million with ESSER funds and additional, looks like air conditioning in our schools. And I mean, I'm sure you
Can't
can
wait.
just go on and on about the work that's being done in our schools in terms of not only pre-pandemic, pandemic, and post-pandemic work that is happening to safety and security of our district and our student staff and folks who visit our schools. So I want to really thank you for being a part of this first segment around renaming of our schools. It's so very important. I thank you for coming on and sharing the information that's so vital to understanding that process, so folks will understand and know what the process is. Denise went over that, and so we're looking forward to working through that process and getting it done for the beginning of next school year. So thank you so much, Jeannie. I appreciate
All right,
it.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Bye.
God bless you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Did you want to go over some school updates?
Yeah, you got some school updates for us, Denise?
We sure do. So any child or community member that wants to be vaccinated, we're partnering with Henry J. Austin. So thank you, Henry J. Austin and Trenton Health Team, to communicate out this information. So every Monday at Kilmer Elementary School from 4 to 7, that address is 1300 Stuyvesant Avenue. Tuesdays, vaccinations available again for students ages 5 and up at Rivera Middle School from 4 to 7, 400 North Montgomery Avenue. Wednesdays at Trenton Central High School from 4 to 7, and that address is 400 Chambers Street. So once again, thank you, Henry J. Austin and Trenton Health Team, for helping to make this happen. And thank you to our supervisor of nursing, Micah Freeman, for being involved in this process. We thank you because we want our schools to continue to be safe. So COVID-19 vaccines for ages 5 through 11 are now available, and that information will be available on our website. Also, if you're listening, today is Tuesday, November 9th, and there is a town hall meeting with our superintendent for the redistricting conversation. So if you want to be a part of that, it's still not too late. It's happening tonight at 5:30 at Dunn Middle School, and that address is 45 Dayton Street, I believe. I need to verify that, but Dunn Middle School, it just slipped my mind. I'm like, I had the address right at the tip of my forefront, but I will confirm that address, people. So if you are wanting to be a part of that conversation tonight at Dunn Middle School, South Trenton. And also we are continuing our Parent Connection series. And this is where the Family and Community Engagement Department is meeting with parents to have a conversation about parenting, stress, health, strengthening relationships, learning about school systems. And that is taking place here at the Trenton Board of Education every Wednesday from 5:30 to 7 p.m. at night. It is in person. We are following COVID-19 regulations. Childcare is being provided and child activities are available for children ages 3 and up. And we're just having a good time, and we're learning more about empowering parents to be leaders in their child's education. So we look forward to continuing these sessions. And next week's topic is our project chat, which is caregivers hearing about anxiety treatments. So we're really excited because we're partnering with Temple University, and they are administering a research study. So any parent that opts to participate in this session can earn up to $50 in Visa e-card. So if you want more information on that, I will drop that flyer and information in this chat, and our communications officer will be administering that throughout our district and school community. So be on the lookout for Project Chat. Anything else you want to mention, Mr. Truman?
I'm thankful that Ms. Diaz is actually one of our attendees. I mean, she's working right in the district, and I'm glad she's a part of our broadcast as one of our attendees on our Zoom link. I'm happy about the program that you're running with the Parent Connect and that parent education series. I think it's so very important. I'm glad we were able to get back to that, because I mean, with the pandemic, it was very difficult through the virtual world, but we were able to get it done through your leadership. But I'm thankful that we're able to come back in person and really connect with our parents. And that $50 gift card, man, that's great that Temple University is coming in to do that study and offering a gift card to our parents who participate. I do think that the social emotional learning is so very important to our families and our students as they come out of the pandemic, and actually maybe still even going through some of the pain from the pandemic, whether it be a death in the family or a sick relative and so forth and so on. So it's very heartfelt that we're doing the work around social emotional learning.
Absolutely. And we expect that this is just going to continue to grow, continue to expand. Project Chat, I just wanted to mention, is available virtually. So any parents that can't make it and want to participate and want to fill out the questionnaires that they have to complete, you can do so at, your own home. So please, participate. You never know what impact you can have on another family once you learn all this information. And it's going to be a very, very important topic of discussion, anxiety in youth. So jumping back, because I got the right address.
Hey, man. All right, let's go. What's the address?
401 Dayton Street. Is done. And I knew that.
What was that address?
401 Dayton Street. For tonight's town hall meeting for the redistricting being led by Mr. James Earl. So if you want
our superintendent of schools, and you know what, Denise, he did a great job over at MLK. That was the first town hall. It was packed. I mean, we packed to capacity in terms of COVID restrictions, but everyone wearing masks and of course protocols in place, temperature checks and that kind of thing. But it was well attended by parents. It was well attended by our community. Our administrators were there supporting the superintendent and supporting the parents with the redistricting presentation. Food will be available, food and drinks and water and stuff, things of that nature to help If you're hungry coming from work or somewhere, you'll be able to get a bite to eat and listen to the conversation. And it's about conversation. He'll take questions, superintendent will take questions. Also, Wilfredo Ortiz was there as well, and other administrators. Our superintendent was there, of course, and our assistant superintendent, our director of special services, Mr. Gutierrez, and others were there on standby to answer questions for our parents and students who may have had some questions about the redistricting. We did have a bunch of questions. I recall many questions from our community and parents about redistricting. So Denise, it looks like we got another special guest in our second segment. Our Kelly Services representatives are on the line. And so for our second segment to get started, can you introduce our guest?
Absolutely. Welcome, Kelly Services. Here we have with us tonight is Jasmine Thompson. Do you want to say hi to everyone?
Hello, everyone. I'm Jasmine Thompson. I'm the recruiting strategist for Trenton School District.
Awesome. Welcome. And we have Nafisa Facet. Hopefully I pronounced your name correctly with us tonight. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. My name is Nafisa. You did pronounce it correctly. And I'm with Kelly as well. And I am the client manager.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about the services that you provide and what you're offering for the community and, how to get a hold of this information.
Absolutely. So I just wanted to say, thank you for having us on the show. Kelly is very excited to have partnered with Trenton school districts. We started in July. I feel like we just hit the ground running and we haven't stopped since then. And we just celebrated 75 years of Kelly being in business. So it's a really exciting time for us. And just to give you a little bit of background, every year we place more than 4 million people in educational roles, and that's including over 300,000 non-instructional positions across the educational system. So, this is nothing new to Kelly, although we're new to Trenton. The company is very experienced and has been around for some time. So I just wanted to jump in and just give a little bit of information about why Kelly Education. The good thing about us is that we do offer a flexible schedule. So you can work as much or as little as you want. And I think that appeals to people, working class families or retirees, people who may not can commit to a 5-day work schedule. Even if they can come in and support the students, once or twice a week, it still goes a long way. It helps us to get people in classrooms and, the different services for our students. And another thing, if you do have children, you can work the same exact schedule as they are in school. So that helps out with the hustle and bustle of trying to find morning care and aftercare. So the flexibility goes a long way. We're always looking for people who are considering a career change, who want to start teaching, who's never done it before. We offer all the tools and the trainings to get you all up and running. So definitely looking for folks, we get people all the time like, well, I've never done teaching. I'm like, well, a lot of people haven't, but I'm sure at some point you work with a child or a family member or, a niece or nephew. So you do have that experience somehow, some way. And the good thing is, as well, is that you'll have weekends and holidays off. And again, for the retirees who, they may have done their time and paid their dues, but they might want to, work here and there. So we're grateful to have, just about any person that comes through our doors that can work 1 day or 5 days. And some of the things that we offer with Kelly is that we offer bonuses, which is great. If you come in and work and say, hey, I really like it, I want to refer some of my friends, please, we love referrals. Word of mouth is the best way to advertise nowadays. So we do offer $100 referral bonuses, which is great for our people who refer other good people. We pay every Friday, which is another great perk as well. We offer group insurance options. Another good thing that Kelly offers to our employees free of charge is access to over 6,000 online training courses that are available at any time. And then we also have discounted college tuition and with several online universities. And after school, we all know how student loans are. Something else Kelly has is the peanut butter free financial counseling that helps get student loans under control. So which is really good, just making them more manageable. And we also have EAP, which is mental health services, especially over the last year with COVID and, a lot of cases of mental health has risen. So we do have licensed counselors on hand that can provide counseling services for our, employees. So just wanted to go over a little bit of information of, how long Kelly has been around, why Kelly Education. There are many more things that we have to offer, but more importantly, we want to make sure we're putting the right people in the classroom. So they're supporting the administrative staff and as well as the students. I'm going to pass it over to my partner, Jasmine, and she's going to go over the different job opportunities that we're looking to fill.
All right. So we have several job opportunities available with the Trenton School District, including the instructional and the non-instructional positions. Some of the positions include the substitute teacher, which you can do daily substitute, which pretty much is like per diem. We also have the building-based substitute teachers, which are substitute teachers who will be assigned to a building for the school year, and then they'll be placed in a classroom wherever they're needed within that building. And then we also have the long-term substitute teachers, in which those positions are pretty much you will be responsible for making sure that the students do the lesson plans that the teacher left for them. And in those cases, sometimes you may have to grade exams or act as the teacher. We also have the one-on-one aides, which works with our special needs students. The classroom aides, which is like the substitute paraprofessional position, which you'll serve as a teacher's aide. The secretarial slash clerical position, which is you'll provide administrative duties for the school that you're placed at. And then we also have the bus aide position, which is pretty much a bus monitor. All of these positions, for the most part, the substitute teacher positions, you would need certain qualifications as far as like 60 college credits. And they just lowered the standard as of last month that if you're currently enrolled at a university or college and you have 30 college credits, that you can apply to be a substitute teacher.
So it sounds like, Jasmine and Nafisa, that there's a lot of opportunities here in the city of Trenton to work in the district. They will be working directly for Kelly Services, but then be supporting our district, whether it be in the teacher role, paraprofessional one-on-one role, a secretarial role, or a bus aide role. What position as of now are you looking for the most? I mean, I know we have a cadre of different positions, but what one is in demand right now?
We definitely more substitute teachers. Nafisa could piggyback off of that.
Definitely teachers. Teachers are needed across the country right now. Our area is not the only area that's hurting. We're learning as the years pass by, a lot of kids are just not going to college for education any longer. So I think substituting is a great way to pull people in regardless of their background. We can train them, get them up and running and get them to work. But right now, our main focus is teachers, of course, the other positions as well, but teachers is a great necessity. And we can help people get the proper substitute certifications that they need in order to teach in the classrooms.
So I'm hearing you say that there's opportunities if I don't have the proper credentials. Well, I have the credentials, but I need the help in the process of becoming a teacher or a certified substitute teacher, that you have the vehicle to help me get to that point?
Yes. We're here to assist. Yes.
So what is that? What's that process look like if someone is our radio listeners and our TV viewers? They have all the credentials, but they're not sure about the process. What's that process look like for someone who wants to come and be a sub teacher?
So in order to acquire a sub cert, I always recommend them to come in and sit with us. You do have to apply online. There's the fee that you do pay to the state of New Jersey. You have to provide sealed transcripts. And also, so you have the application, the sealed transcripts, and your background information. So it's not a lot. Normally when we have people bring everything in, we can do the application within, I say 10 minutes at the most. And then they can actually take the documents down to a location in Trenton. And there's locations all over New Jersey, but we direct them to go to the office in Trenton to submit their documents and then get them processed as soon as possible.
And typically, I know you're not the state of New Jersey, but typically in your experience, how long does that process typically take if you're applying for certification as a sub with the state of New Jersey? But what's the turnaround time with the state in your experience during the pandemic?
So right now, it's 6 weeks turnaround. It's a process. That's why we recommend, but it can go longer if you don't have the proper documentations. We recommend everyone to come in and do it with us so we can dot all I's, cross all T's, and make sure they have the proper paperwork going down there. Because when we first started, I had people like, I've been waiting over 3 months. I was like, okay, wait, something is definitely not right. Bring your paperwork in. Let us take a look. Let's log into your account and see what's missing. So pretty much having them come in and allowing us to assist them one-on-one to make sure whatever's required that they're taken with them on the first visit.
One interesting thing too. I mean, I got a question. How much am I gonna get paid? What's the pay rate? I mean, if I come in as a sub, how much am I gonna get paid?
So the pay rates, the daily pay rates for substitute teacher range anywhere between $150 to $250. Okay. For the paraprofessional and the one-to-one, that ranges an hourly rate of $17.69 to $20 an hour. And the reason why we have that discrepancy is because for the one-to-one and for the paraprofessional, if our talent have the credits, 48 college credits, we bump them up to that $20 an hour. But for those, all you need is a high school diploma. And then for the bus aid, that hourly rate is also $17.69. No high school diploma needed for that, no proof of education. And then for the secretary / clerical, that rate is hourly rate of $15.79.
Mm-hmm. But for teachers, we do offer competitive rates. They're amongst the highest in the state of New Jersey. We're getting a lot of people moving over to Trenton, which is great for us. But yeah, you can come and be a teacher, work per diem $150 a day, but why not either jump into a building-based role for $175 a day, or even take on the challenge of being a long-term, and it's $225 or $250 a day for those.
See, I heard you say, I hear the bump, right? So 150 as a per diem, 175 as a building base, and 250 as a long-term sub. So I've got some incentives here. If I'm a certified substitute teacher and I want to just maybe do per diem, I want a couple of days a week, I can make 150 a day, but I want to be on a specific building and really focus on that particular facility, I can make 175 a day. And if I'm really gung-ho and really enthusiastic about being a sub teacher, I can be a long-term sub and make $250 a day.
Either $225 or $250.
$225 or $250. What's the distinguishing difference between those two rates?
A lot of our special education assignments do pay $250. So the more challenging ones, you're going to, make a little bit more money on.
That's an incentive. Denise?
Mm-hmm.
You started to answer my questions because I love the fact that you broke everything down so that our audience members can, help to recruit and bring more staff on for Kelly Services, which in turn helps our school community. So bus aides, no high school requirement, correct? Did I hear you correctly?
Yes.
And then paraprofessionals, how many college credits do they need?
A paraprofessional for the substitute paraprofessional, just a high school diploma as well as the one-to-one, just a high school diploma as well. However, we will bump you up to that $20 an hour for both the paraprofessional or the one-to-one if you have a minimum of 48 college credits.
Gotcha. So not required, but bonus if you have 48 college credits. Good to know. So let's talk about this bonus. So if somebody successfully helps another person, did I hear you correctly? You said $100.
$100.
That means
So
they have to start successfully, correct?
they have to be fully hired and they have
Yes.
at least 5 days.
Yes.
So just sharing information, providing a resource for someone who's not working, in turn, you can get $100 bonus.
Awesome. And then I like the fact that you shared that you have mental health services available. So is that connected through the health insurance process, or is that something separate that is offered in addition to the services that Kelly provides?
Yeah, so it's definitely something separate. It's offered in addition to. It's free of charge for all of our employees. And you can access, free counseling sessions for you, not just the employee, but for your family as well. There's a certain amount of sessions that you're allotted for free, but there's also a lot more resources. Like if you experience a death in a family, they can help funeral preparations. If you're looking for childcare, if you're looking for your elderly parents, as support for for them. So there's a ton of different options to get help.
Gotcha. And then, so that's great. So then you offer insurance. Is that just for full-time employees, or do you offer insurance for part-time?
So it all depends on what you and your family qualify for. But everyone is open and welcome to apply to see what plans fit within your budget.
Awesome. And then you also mentioned that you help your staff members to continue their education. That's fantastic. So do you want to talk a little bit more about that and what that looks like for? Does somebody have to work for your service for a set amount of time before that's offered, or is that available immediately?
There is a certain amount of time you do have to work in order to qualify. We have a website called mykelly.us, and where anyone can go online and just access all of the different benefits and resource information. Kelly does partner with a number of schools. DeVry is one of them. And depending on what your grade point average is, it could either be a percentage off of tuition or 100% full tuition paid.
Great. I was just adding that to the Facebook feed. And just a question from D. Jones from Facebook. What are the requirements for substitute teachers? If you could just mention that one more time.
Yes. So the requirements for substitute teachers, you have to have a minimum of 60 college credits, 30 college credits if you're currently enrolled at a university or college. And then you would also have to apply for the subcert through Mercer County, what Nafisa talked about earlier.
Thank you so much. So is there any other?
Denise, you know what, Denise, there's a fee, right? So you gotta pay a fee. You don't pay it to Kelly. You pay that fee to the state of New Jersey for your sub-certification. There is a processing fee to get that done. But even after you pay that fee, you have an opportunity to come and work and make some good money in the Trenton Public School District. Can you share more information about which schools need subs in our district at this time, or do you have that information available in terms of what schools? If I want to be a building-based sub and I want to go to Kilmer, is Kilmer open to me? Or other schools that are open that have the most need right now?
Yes, so pretty much we have, each school is allotted at least 3 building subs. Some schools are allotted more depending on the size and the need. Kilmer is open. The only school we don't have open right now for building based is Trenton Central. We're learning that's a very popular school to work at.
Yes, very.
But we
Trenton High.
Yes, the Trenton High. But yes, we do have a space at Kilmer, Hedgepest, Wilson, Monument, PJ Hill, pretty much all of them. We have long-term, our long-terms are actually filling up because of the competitive rate. But I have about 20 that are open right now, but that list can change daily. You know, someone, you know, God forbid, can get sick, or someone maybe be expecting and they don't know. So it all depends. Every day it changes.
So I want to hear more about this training that you have. You said you have over 6,000 online training opportunities for all the positions that you have, teachers all the way through to bus aides. Everyone can participate in this online training, on these online training opportunities.
So the training, so we do offer, we have a mandatory pre-hire training that's separate from the over 6,000 trainings that are just available. These trainings are not required, it's just accessible to all of our employees. Like I had one of my coworkers, she went back to school to get a SHRM. And, you know, she was able to access the study guides right through Kelly. Instead of actually paying for the course, she did an independent study, and then she went and paid for the test. So there's accounting training. It's literally everything, anything you can think of that you want to learn more about or brush up more about, or, you know, get educated more about. There's personal development, there's ebooks on there. There's just a ton of things to access. It's not required. It's just a perk of Kelly.
One of the things I also wanted to mention, Denise, you had mentioned it a little while ago about tuition reimbursement. So here's the scenario. I am an aide. I want to come be an aide, a paraprofessional, and I want to go back to school and get my 48 credits. Is there an opportunity for me with the Kelly services to go back to school if I maintain a certain GPA to get those 48 credits to earn additional dollars with Kelly services within Trenton Public School?
There is. So I actually just pulled up our mykelly.us site. There are educational discounts on learning. One of the schools that a few of the schools that we partner with is the University of Arizona. It's a global campus. So you can definitely, you know, you can take online classes. That school actually offers 30% in tuition savings. Colorado Technical University, we have Cleary University, Derive, which is one of the big ones. And so it's Derive University and Keller Graduate School of Management. So you can access the graduate school as well. There's just a ton of information on here, Kinsey Academy. So yes, this opportunity is open. We're constantly pushing this information out to people that work for us. So that way they know that they have, you know, this access to going back to school. So absolutely, I always say just call our benefits department and tell them, okay, hey, I'm interested in going for this, that, and that. Can you recommend which, you know, avenue to take in order to be successful in going back to school?
I'd like to make a recommendation, if I could. One of our local schools, Mercer County Community College, may be an opportunity for you to partner with. I just thought about Mercer County Community College as an opportunity for you to partner with. Maybe something that you may want to consider looking into, as well as, you know, college in New Jersey. All of our local schools in this area would be a big hit, I think, for folks who work and live in the city of Trenton or surrounding areas. That I see that as an opportunity to come work for Kelly in the Trenton Public School District, as well as have the opportunity to advance their education and make more money, and potentially, as from an aide, go to a sub teacher, from a sub teacher to a long-term sub or a building-based sub. And I really I like to promote that as an opportunity.
Thank you. It's
Definitely.
a great idea.
Yes, we will definitely do that. Thank you.
Well, I want to thank you guys, Jasmine Thompson and Nafizia Facette. Thank you so much from Kelly Services for being a part of our broadcast today. I didn't learn too much about each of your backgrounds. Can you give us just a couple of minutes, Jasmine, and then Nafisa, on your backgrounds and how you got involved with Kelly Services?
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I'll start. I just joined Kelly as of the end of August, and I have a background in supply chain management. I served 8 years. I worked in consumer products as well as cosmetics, and wanted to try something different. And it's just been a pleasure working with Kelly Education.
So I actually been with Kelly since 2016. It feels like longer, but yeah. Since 2016, actually started in the educational sector. I've only worked in education at Kelly, and for 5 years, I supported the school district of Philadelphia, which is a huge district, very, very large. So I'm really happy, just to make a change and get a breath of fresh air, new challenges, but not as much. But yeah, been around for some time, over 15 years in recruitment and sourcing, all a variety of different positions.
That's so we'll thank you, Fisa and Jasmine from Kelly Services.
I'm so sorry. There's one other
one
thing.
more-
That we
Go ahead.
just
Go ahead. What you got? What you got for us?
So
Yeah.
we just wanted to put it out there that Kelly Education, we hold on-site hiring events for the Trenton School District every Mondays and Thursdays from 10 to 1 at the Trenton Board of Education, located at 108 North Clinton Avenue, okay? So just wanted to put that out there. If you know anyone, if you're interested, please stop by, come and meet us. We'll do our on-site interviews, and yeah.
Can you repeat that one more time? That's important stuff. Go ahead, Denise.
Yes.
No, I was just gonna say, if you have that in a flyer, we can
Yes.
do an updated share with our school
Sure.
community.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll get that over.
You
to
said
Thank you so much.
Monday and what? Monday and
Wednesdays. Yes.
Monday and Wednesday from 10 to 1 at the administration building.
Yes.
Just walk on in. You don't need an appointment. Just come on in. If you come Monday, we can have you working on Wednesday.
Yes.
Hey, that's good news.
We're here to
Those
get
people need
you-
work.
Yes,
Mhm.
started as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, guys. Thank you so much, Kelly Educational Services. We appreciate you guys coming on board and sharing with us your work here in the city of Trenton and recruitment efforts and wanting to put City of Trenton residents to work and in our school district. And so thank you so much for being a part of our broadcast today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
See you guys a little later.
Take care.
Take care. So Denise, you got some final announcements for our listening audience from radio and TV and our Facebook Live folks and our Zoom attendees. What do you got for us?
Thank you, parents, community, district staff, anyone that's listening. If you're interested in having feedback regarding the redistricting of the school district, please come out tonight to Dunn Middle School from 5:30 to 7, and that is 401 Dayton Street. So that conversation is taking place tonight, and that's the redistricting of our schools. And finally, if you're interested in getting your child vaccinated, that is now being offered in partnership with Henry J. Austin, and the Trenton Health Team is helping to communicate this information. So on Mondays, let me get my flyer out. That's happening over at Kilmer School at 1200 Stuyvesant Avenue. And of course, I misplaced my flyer. So that's exciting that the vaccination is now open for students ages 5 through 11. So once again, Mondays at Kilmer Elementary School, 4 to 7, 1300 Stuyvesant Avenue. Tuesdays at Rivera Middle School from 4 to 7, 400 North Montgomery Avenue. And Wednesdays at Trenton Central High School, 400 Chambers Street from 4 to 7 p.m. So if you're interested in getting your child vaccinated and continuing to keep our schools safe, you can go and make yourself available at one of those site locations. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Denise. I appreciate you. You've been listening to Trenton Talks on WING 1300 AM and WPHY Verizon Channel 28, our TV radio broadcast from Trenton Public Schools. We thank each and every one of our guests on radio, TV, whether you're zooming in with us on Zoom of our webinar or Facebook Live, or listening to us on our rebroadcast on our YouTube Trenton TV channel. We thank you for listening, and everyone have a great night, and tune in next week for us at 4 p.m. as well. We'll be back here live and in color to share more about Trenton Public Schools. Thank you so much for joining us. God bless you.